So we just now we have seen about the clomiphene citrate failure. So what is clomiphene citrate failure? There is no pregnancy despite of ovulation with the clomiphene citrate, and the causes are the long half life of clomiphene citrate, which leads to blockade of various estrogenic receptors, mainly on the endometrium and cervical mucus, and that will lead to the failure. So despite the actions of the clomiphene on the hypothalamus and pituitary, the other peripheral antiestrogenic effects on the endometrium and the cervical mucus are contribute to the failure of the clomiphene citrate. Moreover, there is low fertilization rate, variable implantation rate, and deficient corpus luteum function. So these all factors they contribute to the failure of the clomiphene citrate. Luteal phase dysfunction is blamed for the therapeutic failure. Addition of menotropins or chorionic gonadotropins, they can be added in the last 2 days of the cycle, that can improve the success rate. Clomiphene citrate has long half life of around 6 days. It is well absorbed orally, and it is metabolized and excreted in the bile. Now coming to the adverse reactions of the clomiphene citrate, we have already seen the adverse reactions of the clomiphene citrate. So the results with clomiphene citrate are that 70% cases have ovulation, 40% cases have pregnancy, 5% have multiple pregnancy, and 60% conceive during the first 3 cycles. If there is no pregnancy in 6 cycles, alternative therapy should be chosen. So this is the clomiphene citrate tablet. Now coming to the selective estrogen receptor modulator, that is raloxifene. There are 2 selective estrogen receptor modulators, that is raloxifene, tamoxifene, and ormeloxifene. So let us see about the raloxifene. Raloxifene has high affinity for both estrogenic alpha and estrogenic beta receptors. So modulators are the drugs which have agonist action in some tissues and antagonistic action in some tissues. So they have raloxifene has estrogenic action on the bones, plasma lipids, and the blood. On the bones, it has an anti-resorptive effect and reduces the risk of vertebral fracture. So it prevents vertebral osteoporotic fractures in the woman with osteoporosis and stabilizes bone density. It is a physiological substitute for the estrogen at the bone. It also increases risk of venous thrombosis because of its estrogenic action on the blood, increases coagulation in the blood, can worsen the menopausal symptoms. It reduces cholesterol and reduces the LDL level and increases HDL level. So it has estrogenic action on the plasma lipids also. Then anti-estrogenic action you can see on the endometrium and in the breast. There is no endometrial proliferation, so there is no risk of endometrial cancer. On the breast, it has anti-proliferative effect on the estrogen receptor positive breast tumors. So anti-proliferative effect is seen with the raloxifene. So raloxifene is rapidly absorbed after the oral administration. It has poor bioavailability because of the extensive first pass metabolism. Uses of raloxifene, it is used for the prevention and treatment of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women. So mainly for the osteoporosis in postmenopausal women, to prevent the vertebral fractures and stabilize the bone density. Adverse effects of raloxifene are the hot flushes, leg cramps, increased incidence of DVT, that is deep vein thrombosis, and pulmonary embolism. Does not increase the risk of the endometrial cancer. So the selective estrogen receptor modulators are the drugs which have agonistic action in some tissues and antagonistic properties in other tissues. So they are all totally known as estrogen inhibitors, that is the selective estrogen receptor modulators or estrogen antagonists. So we have seen there are three drugs: tamoxifen, raloxifene and ormeloxifene. Now coming to the tamoxifen, tamoxifen is a partial agonist of estrogen receptors. It is a competitive partial agonist at the estrogen receptor. It was the first selective estrogen receptor modulator to be discovered. It is a non-steroidal compound. It has selective estrogen receptor modulating effect. It has estrogenic action on the endometrium, bone, plasma lipids. So in some tissues it has estrogenic action, and in some tissues it has anti-estrogenic action. Now let us see the estrogenic action mainly on the endometrium. It will lead to endometrial proliferation. On the bone it has anti-resorptive effect, and on the plasma lipids it will increase the HDL level and decrease the LDL level, and reduces cholesterol level also. Anti-estrogenic action is seen on the breast. It will reduce the tumor size. That is, estrogen dependent cancer, breast cancer cells will get destroyed, and it will reduce the tumor size. Anti-estrogenic action on the peripheral side will lead to the various symptoms like hot flushes. It is extensively used for the palliative treatment of the breast cancer in postmenopausal women and high risk women. It is given orally. Half life is 7 to 14 hours. Dose is 10 to 20 milligram BD. Predominantly it excretes to the liver. Side effects are the hot flushes, nausea, vomiting. It causes the endometrial proliferation. We have already seen this. And in the bone it decreases the rate of resorption of the bone by inhibiting the osteoclastic activity. So it has a anti-resorptive effect on the bones. We have also seen the action on the plasma lipids. Tamoxifen undergoes enterohepatic cycling, that's why it has a little longer half-life. It is used mainly for the breast cancer, treatment of the breast cancer, palliative treatment of the breast cancer in the postmenopausal women and high-risk women. Also used in both premenopausal and postmenopausal women. Now tamoxifen's role in the treatment of the postmenopausal breast cancer is little bit reduced because of better availability of the drugs, other drugs, and the side effects of the tamoxifen. Tamoxifen increases risk of endometrial carcinoma and has thromboembolic disorders. So as it causes endometrial proliferation, there is a risk of the endometrial cancer and venous thrombosis. So because of this adverse reaction, its popularity in the treatment of postmenopausal breast cancer has been declined. Moreover, there are many patients who don't respond to the tamoxifen. So there is a tamoxifen resistance, and so when there is tamoxifen resistance, fulvestrant can be used, which is a pure estrogen antagonist for the treatment of the tamoxifen resistant breast tumors or breast cancer. Fulvestrant is a selective estrogen receptor down regulator, that is SERD, selective estrogen receptor down regulator or pure estrogen antagonist. Fulvestrant is introduced for the treatment of the locally advanced or metastatic estrogen receptor positive breast cancer. So in advanced or metastatic breast cancer which are estrogen dependent, so in them you can give fulvestrant, especially in the postmenopausal women who have stopped responding to the tamoxifen. Fulvestrant is more effective than the tamoxifen because it has high efficacy, and also it also causes the destruction of the estrogen receptor. Receptor degradation is there with the fulvestrant. Estrogen receptors get degraded and hence there is a down regulation. That's why it is known as selective estrogen receptor down regulator. So the role of the treatment in postmenopausal women is generally fulvestrant in estrogen dependent breast cancer. In estrogen dependent breast cancer, fulvestrant is a drug of choice. Fulvestrant is administered intramuscularly. 250 milligram is a dose. 250 to 500 milligram is a dose. It is given every month, once in a month. In deep intramuscular injection of fulvestrant is given in the buttocks once in a month, single dose once in a month. Dose is 250 to 500 milligram intramuscularly. So this slide shows about the tamoxifen. Tamoxifen is a selective estrogen receptor modulator. It works by binding to the estrogen receptors, blocks estrogen receptor in some sites, in some tissues. You can see that the estrogen receptor in the breast is blocked by the SERM. Breast receptors are not activated and there is no breast cell proliferation. So it has an antagonistic action or it acts as an anti-estrogen in the breast cancer cell. That's why it is known as a modulator with modulating effect. That means anti-estrogenic action on the breast cancer cell. So you can see that the breast estrogen receptor is located on the breast cells, tissue cells. The tamoxifen blocks these receptors and the breast receptor is not activated and there is no breast cell proliferation. So estrogen cannot activate these breast cell receptors and so there is no breast cell proliferation. While in the uterus you can see that the estrogen receptor in the uterine cell is activated by binding of the estrogen, because it has tamoxifen has a estrogenic action on the uterus, on the endometrium. So it will activate this uterine receptor or endometrial receptor and it will show the action just like estrogen. There will be proliferation of the endometrium. So in this slide you can see that the tamoxifen mechanism of action, it is a estrogen receptor antagonist in the breast. So it competitively binds the estrogen receptors, blocks the estrogen receptor, producing a decrease in the DNA synthesis and inhibits the estrogen effect, inhibits the proliferation of the breast tumor cells which are estrogen dependent. So in this slide you can see that the various sites for the synthesis of estrogen: premenopausal ovaries, postmenopausal ovaries and adrenal glands, peripheral tissue, that is adipose tissue, and the skin, where the estrone and the estradiol are synthesized. Even in the breast tumor tissue you can see that from androstenedione estrone is synthesized and from testosterone estradiol is synthesized, which will act on the tumor cells of the breast. So estradiol binds to the estrogen receptors on the tumor cells and will activate the estrogen response element and the cause gene transcription, and there will be synthesis of messenger RNA on the target gene. So the estrogen receptors which are located on the nucleus of the target gene, they will activate the estrogen response element and will direct the synthesis of the messenger RNA and will cause synthesis of the new proteins. So in this way the estrogens will act on the breast tumor cells and the tumor cells will proliferate, estrogen dependent tumor cells in the breast cancer, in the CA breast. So these are blocked by the tamoxifen and the fulvestrant. So now coming to the aromatase inhibitors. Now you can see that estradiol is synthesized from the testosterone by the enzyme aromatase. So aromatase enzyme catalyzes this reaction, converting testosterone to the estradiol in various tissues, as we have just now seen. So there is aromatization and leading to the formation of the synthesis of the estradiol. So in this slide you can see that how the estradiol is synthesized from the testosterone and estrone is synthesized from the androstenedione by aromatization, and the aromatase inhibitors inhibit this reaction. So there is no synthesis of the estrone and the estradiol. Why? Because the aromatase inhibitors, they inhibit the enzyme aromatase and so inhibit the aromatization reaction, and so there is a deficiency of estradiol and estrone. Now coming to the generations of the aromatase inhibitors, there are three generations. First generation is the aminoglutathamide, second generation is the fadrozole and formastane, third generation are the letrozole, anastrozole, and the exemestane, letrozole, anastrozole and the exemestane. Out of these, the letrozole and the anastrozole are the reversible inhibitors. They are non-steroidal agents, while exemestane is a steroidal agent and it is irreversible inhibitor of the aromatase enzyme. This slide shows the action of both tamoxifen as well as aromatase inhibitors. So you can see that androstenedione is converted to the testosterone, testosterone is converted to the estradiol by the aromatase enzyme. Androstenedione is also converted to the estrone in various tissues like the adipose cells, liver, muscle, breast. So the aromatase inhibitors inhibit this conversion or inhibit the enzyme aromatase. Example is anastrozole, and tamoxifen blocks the estrogenic receptors, estrogen alpha and beta cells in the breast tumor. So this slide also shows the mechanism of action of the aromatase inhibitors. From androstenedione, estrone is produced by the aromatase enzyme, and from testosterone, estradiol is produced. So you can see that in various tissues it is the aromatase enzyme causes synthesis of the estrone and the estradiol. So the aromatase inhibitors inhibit the production of the estrone and estradiol from the androstenedione and the testosterone. Here the action of tamoxifen is also shown, which blocks the estrogen receptors in the breast cancer cells. So the anastrozole is an aromatase inhibitor. It is a selective inhibitor of the enzyme aromatase and thus decreases estrogen synthesis. It is used in the postmenopausal breast cancer tumors, breast cancer in postmenopausal women resistant to the tamoxifen. So here you can see the mechanism of action of anastrozole inhibits the enzyme aromatase and inhibits synthesis of the estradiol and estrone. So here you can see that from androstenedione the estradiol is synthesized, from testosterone the estradiol is synthesized by the catalyzed by the enzyme aromatase. So aromatase inhibitors inhibit the synthesis of estradiol. Estradiol acts on the estrogen receptors on the breast cancer cell located on the breast cancer cell, and tamoxifen blocks these receptors. So the action of the tamoxifen as well as aromatase inhibitors is shown in this slide. Here also you can see the mechanism of action of the aromatase inhibitors. Androgens are converted to the estrogens, that is estradiol and estrone, by the enzyme aromatase. Aromatase inhibitors inhibit these enzymes and decrease the synthesis of the estrogens. Estrogens are responsible for the tumor growth in the breast, and that is why aromatase inhibitors are effective in the treatment of the breast cancer, estrogen dependent breast cancer. Here you can see the development of the aromatase inhibitors. First generation aminoglutathione, it had lot of toxicity. Second generation fadrozole with less toxicity, and the third generation anastrozole, exemestane and letrozole, they have good potency and less toxicity. So all these agents are administered orally. They decrease the estrogen level by inhibiting the aromatase enzyme. They are useful in the treatment of breast carcinoma. Common side effects are the hot flushes. There is no endometrial hyperplasia and venous thromboembolism, which is seen with the tamoxifen. So if you compare with the tamoxifen, the side effects are less, but still there is an unfavorable effect on the lipid profile. It also causes bone loss, and it causes bone loss. These drugs should not be, aromatase inhibitor should not be given in premenopausal women because they decrease the estrogen production. In generalized, there is a decrease in the estrogen production. So estrogen levels will be declined in premenopausal women. So these drugs are not given in the premenopausal breast cancer. They are only given in the postmenopausal women. So in this slide you can see the current uses of the aromatase inhibitor. These are the breast cancer, endometrial carcinoma and endometrial sarcoma, endometriosis, induction of ovulation, unexplained infertility and poor responders. So breast cancer and endometrial carcinoma which are estrogen dependent, so in these patients they are given, especially in the postmenopausal women, not in premenopausal women. and also for the infertility treatment and induction of the ovulation. In infertility, they are much better than the clomiphene citrate, and they are also effective in poor responders who don't tolerate the clomiphene citrate or the tamoxifen, who don't respond to the tamoxifen, as well as in failure of the clomiphene citrate in infertility. So, the rationale for the aromatase inhibitors in the treatment of breast cancer and in the infertility: mortality is reduced, it is more effective, more efficacious, survival is increased, prophylactic therapy is also effective. Aromatase inhibitors are effective in resistant cases who don't respond to the tamoxifen, may be superior to the tamoxifen as first line agent, and they are well tolerated. Side effects are fewer with the aromatase inhibitors as compared to the tamoxifen. There is no endometrial hyperplasia and there is no risk of endometrial cancer and venous thromboembolism, but only the risk is that there is a osteoporosis may occur and lipid profile changes in the lipid profile will be there, adverse effect on the lipid profile. So, the main advantage is that they have a low risk of endometrial carcinoma, thromboembolic event, and they are also effective in tamoxifen resistant cases. They may also be used in the infertility. They are more effective in delaying the recurrence of the early stage of the breast cancer. So, they don't cause recurrence, they delay the recurrence. They exert prophylactic effect even after the cure for around 5 years. They delay the progression of the disease and improve survival in advanced cases of breast cancer. They can be used as a palliative treatment in the advanced cases of the breast cancer. Effective in the tamoxifen failure cases. No endometrial proliferation, no endometrial cancer, and no risk of the thromboembolic events. They should not be used in premenopausal women because they decline the estrogen production. So, these are the various aromatase inhibitors which are available. So, in this so we have discussed in this class about the after estrogen, we have discussed about the estrogen antagonist, that is clomiphene citrate and the fulvestrant. We have also discussed the selective estrogen receptor modulators, that is the raloxifene, tamoxifen, and we have discussed the aromatase inhibitors. We have seen the advantages of the aromatase inhibitors. So, important questions are asked generally on this topic, which are the compare between the aromatase inhibitors and the tamoxifen, or compare and contrast between letrozole and tamoxifen. What are the advantages of letrozole over the tamoxifen? What are the uses of the clomiphene citrate? How will you treat the breast cancer? So, discuss the uses, therapeutic uses of the aromatase inhibitors. So, short note can come on the aromatase inhibitors or clomiphene citrate or estrogen antagonist, or it can be asked in discuss the name the selective estrogen receptor modulators and discuss uses of each drug, or short note can come on the raloxifene or the tamoxifen. So, with this we end today's class. Thank you.